All right, it's 7 p.m. in Gardner, Kansas. I'm going to call the Gardner City Council meeting to order. Can you please rise as you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't have many of these left to do, but I really appreciate the fact I'm able to do this one because this is one of the high points of my time as mayor, is being able to work with the autism community. So I really do appreciate it. Whereas Gardner Gold Special Olympics was founded in 2003, making this year the 18th anniversary of the program in the Gardner community, and whereas Gardner Gold Special Olympics program was established with the intent to give athletes with special needs the opportunity and excitement of participating in team sports, and whereas Gardner Gold Special Olympics began with 4 athletes in 2003 and has grown to over 40 athletes due in large parts to the hard work, cooperation, diligence, and vision of Gardner Parks and Recreation, our founding members and volunteers, and whereas their commitment to providing residents of Gardner with developmental disabilities a place to experience activities many may take for granted, and whereas the volunteers of Gardner Gold have helped our athletes develop a strong bond with the community of Gardner and with special populations across the Kansas City metropolitan area. And whereas Gardner Gold Special Olympics has been proud to be able to provide these opportunities at no cost to the families because of the community support and involvement experienced in the Gardner community. Now therefore be resolved that I, Steve Shute, Mayor of the City of Gardner, Kansas, do hereby proclaim November 1st, 2021 as Gardner Gold Special Olympics Day in the City of Gardner, Kansas. And I would love to invite the folks that are here from Gardner Gold, as well as the volunteers, to come up and accept the proclamation. You just come on up here. There you go. And if you want to take a picture, absolutely.
I'm tired in 2013.
Turn around so you can see it.
There you go. Big country.
Did you smile?
Oh, wait.
One more.
Oh.
Great. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Move on to public comments. Members of the public are welcome to use this time to make comments about city matters or items on the agenda that are not part of a public hearing. If you wish to come forward, there are only a couple of ground rules. One is there's a time clock on my right, your left. It's a 5-minute time clock. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. No profanity, no personal attacks. With that being said, if you wish to come forward, state your name and address for the record. The podium is now open. Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there any member of the council who wishes to remove an item from the consent agenda? Seeing no one, entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Deaton, second Baldwin, that we approve the consent agenda. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Consent agenda passes. There's nothing on planning and zoning consent, committee recommendations, or old business. New business number 1, consider adopting an ordinance amending ordinance number 2640 of the city in connection with the Waverly Plaza Community Improvement District. Finance Director Matt Wolf, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. On December 16th, 2019, the City Council approved the establishment of a CID for Waverly Plaza development. The start date of the district was set for January 1st, 2022. At this time, there are no existing businesses within the district to generate sales tax. The purpose of this ordinance is to remove the January 1st, 2022 start date, provide substitute language regarding the timing of the CID sales tax collection. In the proposed ordinance, the collection of CID sales tax would now commence on one of the following three options. The first one is the date of the first retail user within the CID is open for business. Second option is such a other date as determined by the city or retail user within the CID is open for business. And the earliest date foregoing of on which the Kansas Department of Revenue agrees to begin the imposition of the CID sales tax. So essentially, the entire amendment, the purpose of this is to delay the start. Bond Counsel Ellsworth will be available here tonight to answer any questions you might have. The staff's recommendation that you approve the recommended ordinance.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Is there any public comment on new business item number 1? And I will note that Bond Counsel Ellsworth is here. He's in presence and will be happy to answer some questions. I will start on my left with Councilwoman Deaton.
No questions.
Council Vice President?
No question.
Council President? No questions. Councilmember Gorsuch?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to clarify that the $34,000 approximately, that cost would be reimbursed eventually through the CID.
That is correct. What Councilmember Gorsuch is referring to is it's about $34,000 a year in annual debt service for our component of the Special Benefit District. We have first rights to the CID, so it was staff's recommendation to delay it just to make sure that the project's successful and ensure our long-term reimbursement of those costs.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Councilwoman Roberts?
No questions.
Okay. My question was very similar, and that was from the standpoint of extending. I would really be against an indefinite extension. I think that there needs to be some discussion about getting something started on that property sooner rather than later. And so that's the only thing I would be concerned about potentially with an ordinance that might leave that open-ended. So
I had the same concern, but because we have the second option of such other date is determined by the city, we can do that whenever we want.
yes, I'm aware of that. But it's something that we would probably want to operate on or act on sooner rather than later.
When we review these, we take that into account to see what's in the city's best interest, and for us, why we're recommending this approach is we think this will help the project be more successful and eventually start.
And, yeah, I do, and thank you for that, Mayor. Is the land bank still an option? If they don't get started?
So the land bank is a separate project
Yeah.
than this one, so the land bank is still under discussion for the
Okay.
other project, yes.
So I guess I do have a question. So last meeting, we talked about the ordinance review, so this one then would be, when we ordinance review it, if we just determine when we review it that we need to act on it, we can, right? Okay.
Absolutely. I would be in favor of that. We need to keep our heads on this thing. So, all right. Thank you. Any other questions? If not, I will entertain a motion on ordinance number 2640.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Deaton, second, Gregorczyk, that we adopt ordinance number 2720. That's interesting. We've got two separate numbers here. Which one's correct? One says 2640.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, that's the one that's amending. I'm sorry. All right, my apologies. Adopt ordinance number 2720. That's the correct ordinance number. An ordinance amending ordinance number 2640 of the city of Gardner, Kansas, in connection with the Waverly Plaza Community Development District in the city. City clerk.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Councilmember Deaton,
Yes.
Councilmember Roberts,
Yes.
Councilmember Winters,
Yes.
Councilmember Gregorczyk,
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 2720 passes. New business item number 2, consider accepting a voluntary annexation with landowner consent. Development Director Dave Knopping.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. This is really kind of a housekeeping item. Thomas and Julie Trigg have requested a voluntary annexation into the city of Gardner. They own property of 10 acres just to the north of this parcel, so this is adjacent to a parcel that they already have. It's a small strip of area between their parcel and 199th Street. They noticed in their previous tax bill that this parcel did not get incorporated into the city through the previous annexation process, and they desire to have it annexed. With that, I will leave here, or I'll be here for questions. I will leave here too. I may leave here early. I might as well just step down right now.
All right, we just lost our development director, but if you guys have any questions or comments, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. All right, seeing none, any questions for our not quite departed development director or staff. Anything?
Dismissed.
No questions? Okay, now you can go. Move on to a vote then, to consider accepting a voluntary annexation with landowner consent. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Deaton, second, Baldwin, that we accept the voluntary consent annexation request of Thomas C. Trigg and Julie G. Trigg property and adopt ordinance number 2721, an ordinance annexing land into the city of Gardner, Kansas. City Clerk.
Councilmember Deaton,
Yes.
Councilmember Roberts,
Yes.
Councilmember Winters,
Yes.
Councilmember Gregorsick,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 2721 passes. New business item number 3. Consider a resolution providing the authority to award a contract with the Kansas Department of Transportation for the US 56 reconstruction project, and the crowd goes wild. Tim McEldowney, good evening.
Just par for the course.
Oh, my goodness.
So yeah, 2 weeks ago, KDOT opened bids on the project, and Amino Brothers is the apparent low bidder at $6.13 million. So at this point, what KDOT needs is for us to authorize them to proceed with the award. And so basically the document that we're bringing tonight is for council to sign, basically commits the city to paying their portion of it. So a portion of the construction. So a little background. So when we applied for the funding on the project, we did 3 separate grant applications of $1 million each, which we were given. And at that time, we had estimated the construction for the project to be $5.4 million. So again, we're at 6.13 right now. Well, since that time, since the bids were open, KDOT has agreed to put an additional $350,000 towards the project. So so when you include that with the $3 million originally, that leaves us at the 2.87, I think. I don't have it in front of me. $2.87 million. $2.78, sorry. So yeah, so again, that, and I should mention too that amount is based on the bid, and it'll typically change by the time we get done with the project. There's always change orders. It could be a net positive or negative, but again, the final amount won't be determined until the project is over.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Mr. McEldowney, appreciate it. Any public comment on new business item number 3 other than cheers? Anything for him from council? Yes, council.
Then timeline then, if this is approved tonight, what's the
So
timeline?
KDOT's process takes a couple of months minimum once they award a project. So we're looking probably January or February. They always give a certain amount of time to give the contractor leeway on his start date, which they feel they get better bids that way. But essentially, we gave him, the contractor, a month window to let him choose when he wants to start the project. But I would expect he'll be more than likely February. It could be as early as January.
Yeah, and in the meantime, KDOT's going to be front of mind when it comes to filling all the inevitable potholes that are going to be happening between now and then.
They're responsible till then. Once the project starts, the contractor will be responsible for maintaining the road.
Okay.
Are there any preliminary things that could be started before that? I mean, utilities and those kind of things?
Those have already been taken care of, to the best of our knowledge. Again, utilities, typically you'll find things that just, weren't known about during construction. But we have a couple of signs that are having to be relocated. Those will be relocated before the project starts as well.
Lastly, then timeline as far as how long, start to finish, do they estimate?
So they have until, I'm going to say mid-December. I can't remember the exact date, but they have about 11 months to complete the work.
Okay. Yes, Councilman.
Yeah, good questions, Todd. I guess the question that I had was, with the CARS money, the city's all-in number would be about 2.046 million. Is that right?
For construction.
Okay,
Yeah, that's right.
thank you.
So about what's a 2-1 split?
Yeah, plus or minus.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes,
So
sir.
at one point, there'll probably be lane closures, et cetera, but there'll always be a lane open, correct?
Yes, the plan is to have one lane open each direction. So they'll do half the road, finish that, and then go back and do the other half. And with maintaining at least one access to each business. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Council Westbrook.
Tim, will we wait until the very end of this project to put in that stoplight at Quick Trip and Walgreens, or will it be done midway through the project, depending on where that you start?
Typically, you won't turn those on until the project's completely done and all 4 lanes are open. You know, I would say the phasing is actually to go from west to east in 3 separate phases, but we also, contractors usually may have a better way to do it, but that's what's in the plan. So we'll see once the contractor gets on board and what he wants to do. But
Okay.
Any questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion then
So
on
moved.
resolution number 2095. We have a motion. and a
Second.
Motion and a second from Councilman Gorsick. Motion D. That we adopt resolution number 2095, a resolution providing the authority to award the contract and commitment of city funds for the US 56 reconstruction project. Any further discussion? All right, City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Roberts,
Yes.
Councilmember Winters,
Yes.
Councilmember Gregorsic,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Councilmember Deaton,
Yes.
Resolution number 2095 passes. We're getting ourselves a new road. You're longer than expected, but we are getting it, so very, very happy about that. All right, that's the end of our regular council business. We're going to move on to council updates. Does staff have anything for council? I'm going to start with Parks and Rec Director Jason Bruce.
Before they took off, I wanted to thank our Special Olympics parents,
Absolutely.
participants, volunteers for coming. That program doesn't happen without them, so I appreciate them coming out tonight.
You're here.
Also, want to thank sponsors and volunteers and staff for Friday's Boo Bash event out in Celebration Park. Weather turned out to be great. We ended up selling around 1,100 wristbands, and
That's
it was
great.
a different format, but it was well received, and it was a good job. Lots of candy.
Thank you very much, Jason. Sorry about Von Miller. I felt bad. I felt bad for you guys when I saw that. Yeah, Von Miller's going to the Rams.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Boo Bash.
No, I was talking about Von. I was talking about the Broncos because that guy's a Broncos fan over there. So. Anyway, Dave Knopick, you haven't left yet.
No, happy to report that I'm back. Just nothing much today. I just wanted to give you an update on building permits. We aggregated the October totals, had about 22 single-family permits issued in October, which represents almost 30% of our single-family permits for the year. So October had a number of permits come in, primarily from the Grata development. We do have a number of permits in process. Again, I want to say we're in the 15 to 20 range still on the boards being reviewed currently. And also the first phase of Treadway Apartments is on the boards also as far as a permit that's in. So it's a busy end of the year as far as permit issuances on residential units.
It's definitely picking up. And now we're going to be having interviews for the open planning commission spots. So we'll have that done this week. Yes, sir. Colin Headley, what's up?
Nothing additional tonight.
Okay, great. Gons Garcia, utilities.
Yes, something for City Council to consider. Due to the gas price volatility over the past month and this year during the winter storm, KMA is offering a PPA to member cities. They're offering a 7x16, that means 7 days, 16 hours. It will start at 10 p.m. and will go through 6 a.m. 6 a.m., 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. That's the 16 hours. And the other 8 hours will be at market price. So they're, and the contract will be from December 21st to February 22nd. The price they're offering now is $86. Right now, our current price is about $35, $40. To get a $36 megawatt per dollar per megawatt hour, gas price will have to go up to $10. They're projecting it may go up to $6, but everything is very is unknown, as you may know. So they're recommending the cities to go ahead and get this type of PPA. I've done a very gross analysis, and the numbers, they don't work. But I can do a more fine analysis and modeling and come up with better numbers. If this is something the city would like to pursue.
So, so big picture, it would cost us about $500,000 to insure against losses up to $2 million. So you're paying like a 25% premium to avoid what we had last year. So say we pay $6 million for energy cost, it would still only cover up to $2 million, but it'll cost us $500,000 to cover, basically assure that we don't have to pay the first $2 million.
And we're assuring that on behalf of the citizens, correct?
Correct.
So we don't
But the
have,
projections now are 40% below reaching that threshold. So it's, it's, last year was a once in 50 year event.
Yeah.
So it's a high premium to pay for that.
What happens in the $2 million $1 zone up to the 6 that you just rattled off?
We have to pay that,
Okay.
all of it.
so basically, we're potentially foregoing at most $1.5 million, because the 500,000 is baked in, so, I mean, to me, it doesn't seem like the best deal in the world. I would almost say that's one of the reasons why we have a robust, energy fund, and one of the reasons why, we've managed our electric so well. So I would tend to think that we would be in favor of that. Leave it to the rest of the group.
Do you want to see some numbers? You have a,
No, we could see the numbers, but
I don't think it would hurt, but
No.
yeah.
I'm inclined against it.
Everything
thoughts?
I've read is showing 30% increases. So, 30 to 40. This seems like KMEA is somewhat taking advantage of everybody being afraid of what just happened, and they're throwing something out there. Here's this insurance policy, but it's not worth it to us for dollars. What if we do look at numbers from an insurance perspective on our side for due diligence? The only thing I would like to see is you've got your 30 to 40% window, build that in, and then factor in how many days we would have to have something that happened in February happen again.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if it happens for 2 days, that might change their mind a little bit.
Right.
Versus, oh, it'll take 13 days of that, right? If that's going to make up that difference, then it still doesn't make sense. Can you run those numbers?
let me perhaps, right now we have a contract with WAPA, that's 1 megawatt.
Right.
It's about $20 per megawatt hour, sorry. GRDA is about $25, $28. Marshall, which is wind, is 33.
But it's way less than what we're getting quoted from.
So
KMEA.
right now, our resources is about 10 megawatts. So our average capacity during the winter load is 25. So right now we're at 15, and we have to go to the actual market to buy the power. So they're proposing out of that 15, 7.5 to get a PPA for $86, $87. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that.
I think it would be an unnecessary cost to give us a warm and fuzzy against what happened.
But we can still take a look.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with looking at the numbers.
How long do we have before we have to say yes or no to them?
The sooner the better, because every day that we get closer to December, the price is going to go up.
See,
Because
it would make more sense from my perspective if, I know there's a lot of enterprises out there that leverage hedge contracts for specific types of energy generating commodities. I don't understand why KMEA wouldn't look at a potential hedge contract on natural gas if we know that is the power, source for our Dogwood plant. Is that?
they're having a meeting with Dogwood this week to discuss the gas availability and what Dogwood is gonna do, so we don't have the same scenario last year.
Exactly.
They're working on that.
Yeah, because I would think that would be much more effective than trying to sign people on to a insurance policy that doesn't really give them a lot of protection. But that's just me.
Out of the 20, I think 30 cities, only 4 have ownership in Dogwood.
Yep.
We're one of them. So I'll run some numbers, bring them to the next meeting.
All right.
Sure.
Great. Thanks, Gons. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Matt, can we buy calls on futures for natural gas?
That's what I was just gonna ask.
I don't think we've ever looked at that, but we can look into it.
I'd be
I mean, that's a
curious to know.
volatile market, but.
It is volatile, but if you get it at low price and hold that contract.
Yeah.
When I
You
talked
could
to
do a lead.
when I talked to Gons on this issue earlier, kind of came to the same conclusion. Like, we have pretty robust reserves from the electric fund, and all these other cities that are probably doing this don't. So, I mean, the insurance might make more sense if you're in that position. Well, we can basically finance it short term with cash, and then get reimbursed with the PCA in the long term.
Like we are.
Right.
All right, great, thanks. Chief, Chief, Captain Crowd, good seeing you this evening.
Thank you,
Anything
Mayor.
in the police side, although I did see your officers coming through the neighborhoods this weekend, doing your Halloween rounds, and we really appreciated that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to speak of. We actually had a very safe and appears to be happy Halloween. The officers were very busy, but it was with non-Halloween related calls, just normal routine calls. So they didn't get to spend quite as much time handing out candy as they usually do, which they actually look forward to every year. But we still got some good feedback from the city citizens and stuff today with some pictures and things. So all in all, it was a good Halloween, good weather, good everything.
Absolutely.
I hate to bring up a sore subject, but I got a complaint about fireworks last night, and I actually heard fireworks last night, so I didn't know if you had any other complaints or any calls about fireworks or.
There was one on our end of town that sounded like a bomb went off.
I'm not sure if we got any official complaints through dispatch. I didn't look into that number, but we pretty much get some sort of fireworks going off in any holiday in the city of Gardner. So there's going to be a few people that are going to shoot them off no matter what the situation is.
Do you think, since, I mean, we have the rules in place, should we remind people before holidays? I mean, everybody knows,
Well,
but.
I think you can remind till you're blue in the face. They're going to continue to do it once in a while. When it's very sporadic, like it was last night, unless an officer happens to be right there when it goes off, it's going to be almost impossible to catch them doing it. And from what I've heard and from what I've seen personally over the many, many years I've been here, that it is very sporadic other than on the 4th, and you know, the New Year's Eve is probably the only other one where you get any for any amount of time.
I honestly had never heard of them on Halloween.
Never.
I've heard them just about every holiday.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it happens, and even sometimes when it's not a holiday, just because somebody's having a birthday party or something. So I really think it was pretty minor. I mean, yes, it happened. Nobody's going to deny that, but I don't think it was really an issue.
Maybe we should put out a recommendation that you have to do colors. You know, you can only shoot off orange for Halloween and red and green for Christmas.
All right. City Clerk, you got anything for us?
Nothing tonight.
Okay. Finance Director Wolf?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing tonight. How about you, Deputy City Administrator?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing. City Attorney?
Nothing from me.
Nothing. See, when was the last time we had anything from Ryan?
Well, you know, usually I offer privileged advice that I wouldn't offer in an
Okay.
open session.
Okay. Understood. You're here to keep us straight. Yeah, I understand that. City Administrator?
Yeah, we did get the snow removal for downtown businesses out. It'll go through the 9th, so we'll have a report by the next council meeting.
Great. Sounds wonderful. Thank you. All right. Does council have anything for staff? I'm going to start on my far right with Councilwoman.
Okay, well, I have two
Oh,
things, not really related to city, but kind of. First of all, go Chiefs. I don't know what the score is because we can't look up, but
Hasn't
hopefully we're
started yet.
winning.
Hasn't started yet.
Oh, it hasn't started? I didn't know what time it started. Okay. And then, in case people weren't aware, tomorrow's Election Day. I think probably everybody knows. But everybody go vote. That's the whole process. That's how the system works. If you don't go vote, you know, it doesn't work. And good luck to everybody that's running. That's it.
Councilman Gorsick?
Thank you, Mayor. Back to the officers, we saw them in our neighborhood and it was well received, took a quick picture and said thank you. And then right behind them, a couple of minutes, was a fire truck, which was interesting to watch because there's cars on the curb parallel to each other and they navigated it without taking out a rearview mirror or what
That's
have
pretty
you.
tight too. I know.
It is, especially with old Big Red, but appreciate the fire department coming out as well. And then to Councilwoman Roberts' point, I wish everybody up here except for Casey, good luck tomorrow.
Casey's the only one not running.
Exactly. And
You're safe. You won't be voted off.
there you go.
I have the easiest day tomorrow up here.
Fair enough. And yeah, good luck to everybody. And then I encourage everybody, no matter your decision, to get out and vote tomorrow. So thank you.
All right, Councilwoman Deaton.
Yeah, nothing for me, other than go vote. Not for me, though.
Right in, Casey.
Right in. Council Vice President.
Yes, because we have this potential musical chairs going on up here between the rest of us.
Not you.
Yeah, potentially. Well, I mean, if I don't win, I'm just not here. So,
Oh.
but if Randy wins mayor and Steve and I win, then we're just shuffling seats.
Yep.
Right? If Tori or Todd wins, we're going to have an opening that we have to fill.
Correct.
So I propose that based off the results tomorrow night, that if either of those two win, this doesn't matter who wins, there's 67% chance that this could happen, that the city clerk puts out the notice for an opening on the 3rd so that it's out for 2 weeks till the 17th, which then means it can come to us on the 17th in the Friday Minute Memo. We have our week to review it till the 26th. And on the January 6th meeting, we can interview and have a replacement in the seat. That's what I meant, yes.
All right, so December 6th is also when the new council is being seated.
Yep.
The only concern is that it won't be certified by the election office until, for some time in the future, it won't be on the 3rd.
I understand that. If it's really close, unofficially it's narrow, then it probably doesn't make sense. But if it's, fairly significant, we can always put it out, and then if for some reason it changes, we need to delay it and restart it, we can always do that. I just want to make sure there's enough window there that we can get them.
When were you wanting to interview?
The December 6th meeting.
Right after you install new members?
Yep. Basically, I don't see a point in having a lame duck period for anybody.
So if there were new members, they would have opportunity to interview for the opening.
Yep.
Okay.
So if I'm not here, whoever's in my seat will be interviewed. I mean, otherwise I could, if we delay this, I could interview and then I could walk away. But might as well have the new person in here entertain anything.
So you're saying though, well, if potentially there's new council people, their first meeting, as soon as they get sworn in, they're going to be interviewing people?
Yep.
For a council.
I mean, it'd be the same thing as if they wait a meeting and then interview.
I don't know. I'd almost rather they get their feet wet for a meeting and then potentially.
To me, it makes sense to do everything at once.
Well, yeah.
I like the idea of having it done and so that we don't have meetings without people. I only gonna play devil's advocate for poor Sharon to get to decide what is, okay, well, the unofficial results threshold is this, it's good, it's this, it's not good.
We could make a consensus of what that threshold is. I mean, we've had some mayor races with 6 votes. We had a council race.
4
with
votes.
4 votes, right? I get it.
We were
That's a little-
16, by the way.
Yeah.
That's a little close.
Right, because on election night it was one, but
yeah.
then by the time it was certified it was
Yeah.
16. That's a huge difference.
And
when
I
we're
don't
talking
think we
about-
knew until like November 14th. or
Yeah.
something.
But if there's some number everybody's comfortable with, 200, 500, some number,
Well,
then
200,
we can get it going. The process is out there.
I mean, most.
I mean,
of our-
worst case,
I
even
would
if we did it early, we can't. It's not like we can't start the process over and people were out there for an extra couple of days. Big deal. Either way, there's the potential it'll happen, and then if we don't have that seat open, well, then there's no position to fill. Oh well, doesn't hurt anything.
Well, the final certifications, I would tend to be waiting, I would tend to want to wait till final certifications, just so that we know what we're dealing with, instead of waiting for, because preliminary results and final certifications, you can have a significant swing. And most of the council races that I've seen in town, that I've been here for 15 years, have been, a lot of that second position or third position was decided by less than 25 votes.
It doesn't matter about the council though. This is only about the mayor's.
No?
Yeah.
No, could be council too.
It can be council too?
No, council doesn't matter for this because you are either going to have Steve and I in the seats, or you're going to have two new people, or one or the other. That doesn't matter. There's no appointment process for the council seats. There's only potential for an appointment is if Tory or Todd wins the mayor's seat. So
That is
council
true.
doesn't matter.
That
It's
is
only
true.
for the mayor's race.
So,
I think that Steve is gonna get his wish with Ryan speaking. It looks like he's totally looking at something.
If you're looking at the governing by rules and procedures, I've got them and it doesn't really state anything about it.
I was looking at the ordinance in the past, talking about when it is that people are sworn in. You know, because until the shuffling happens, Amy just kind of whispered at me too. I don't know that you had a true vacancy.
nope,
You
we don't.
So how do we fill a seat that isn't vacant?
Well,
Exactly.
But you would have a vacancy the moment the election is finished.
No, you would not.
No, they're not seated, but there will be a vacancy. It is by statute, that seat will come up because the election has been certified at that point.
I believe what the law says on that is that you state that the incumbent stays in the position until their successor is sworn in.
Correct. Right, I don't disagree with that.
Which
But
means
what I'm
it's-
saying is, as soon as we know that there will be a successor, that moment, which could, if you want to do certified, so 6 days out or whatever, right? That point in time, which is not waiting to the next council meeting or anything else, we know at that time that there will be an opening. We can start this process. And then, as far as who's sitting up here, we can wait until that person is sworn in. If we do that on the December 6th, that's the first order of business. Now there is a vacancy. Interview right next.
I think the governing body rules of procedure and the process for vacancies are initiated upon the occurrence of vacancy, including putting the the posting it, all the other things, giving people an
We could
opportunity
post
to
it that
apply.
day. We could post it that day, and then at the next meeting, which would be the.
So at the December 6th meeting is when there will be an official vacancy.
Yep.
Of the potential for
And
an
December
official
20th then would be the
vacancy.
time that we would be interviewing.
And then we could have it posted that day, but then the 20th doesn't give us the 2 full weeks, so we'd have to wait until the January meeting.
But what really happens in December, late December anyway? I've never been in at December meetings where we've had a lot of business. I don't know about you.
I tend to want to wait till the vacancy happens when we're sworn, whoever's sworn in the first meeting of December.
Yeah.
It seems like we're hurrying for some reason, and I'm not sure why.
Because there's no reason to delay it. Right? I mean, we're essentially going to have this period for 2 months then that we're all sitting here going, well, who's really up here? I mean, we know who's up here, but what's the point in delaying, having me vote on something if I'm out, let's say? Why are we holding on to me voting again? Why is that so important?
I don't think you'll get.
Until there's a vacancy, right? Until I'm kicked out, even if I lose the election tomorrow, you're saying that it doesn't matter until December 6th when we're all sworn in. So there's another meeting in November that I get to vote.
Yes. That's the way it's set up right now.
And I'm saying let's minimize that time period as much as possible for all seats, including the mayor's.
And it used to be longer. It used
Right,
to be
January.
until January, and then
Yep.
they changed the statute. And we, this governing body with intent passed that ordinance
Yes, we did.
selecting the date when people were sworn in.
Exactly.
To minimize the lame duck period.
So the lame duck period now is a maximum of 1 meeting.
No,
Yes.
not if you're gonna wait until January 6th and then start the appointment process.
No, we're not waiting until January 6th.
So when are you going to start the appointment?
December 6th.
That's what I just said. You're waiting until December. Oh, I see.
And there's no lame duck period. We have a quorum. We have 4 people up here on this dais.
I think.
And they're the newly elected people, okay? So, no, I think it would make sense in that. That would also satisfy the requirement of upon the occurrence of a vacancy in the position, because there is no occurrence of a vacancy in the position until you swear these people in.
I understand that, but that's essentially semantics, because we know that there will be, has to be a vacancy if certain people win.
I really like your thought process and totally agree with it, but if we have to wait until there's an official vacancy, I don't think there's any way around it.
The only reason we'd have to wait that is if we agree. Governing body rules and procedures are us. We can set this for the future.
Well, they're set by ordinance. We'd have to have another ordinance draft. Well, it's going to take a 2-week period to complete that. In the meantime,
By then it's over.
They should at least do that as soon as
Exactly.
possible, too.
I like the thought process.
we're bound by our own rules.
I just
guys.
think we're just adding to. I mean, I'm okay with leaving it the way it is. I mean, I think we're just we're trying to push through too much. Just my opinion.
I think if this maybe presented in July or August, where we had more time,
That might have made more sense.
I might have been more favor for it. It just seems like it's hurried to me, but that's just my opinion.
Okay. Sounds like if you'd like to make that in effect for the next election, it would
I
make
think,
sense.
yes, move forward with it.
All right. Let's think about that. Okay. But I think I kind of am in agreement with that. Let's not change the traffic procedure in the middle of an election.
We're not changing anything that matters for the election itself.
No.
So I don't think
We
this
aren't.
is an issue if we did it today or 6 months ago. But if you guys want to wait till whenever, so be it.
Well, it's not whenever. It's
Sounds like it. We don't have a date when we're saying we're gonna do it.
It's 2 full weeks after the swearing in, which would be the 6th.
I'm talking about the ordinance.
When would you like to deliberate an ordinance, guys?
I mean, because it's not like we, could suspend it.
I don't think that there's a consensus to deliberate an ordinance tonight.
No, it doesn't look like it.
Okay. All right, we'll move on then. Council President.
Nothing for me, thank you.
All right. Okay, so tomorrow, one of the people on my right is going to be the next mayor. It's going to be voted the next mayor of Gardner. You will have a lot of fun in this seat, I will tell you that. You will also have a lot of frustration, a lot of heavy decisions. It's been a fun ride in some ways, but it's been a real challenging time in a lot of other ways. I think that a lot of the folks that are out there in the public just don't understand how difficult it is to be an elected official, let alone a mayor, and how much of a sacrifice it is, not only to campaign but also to serve in the position, the time you spend away from your family. I'm not trying to discourage any of you from being the mayor, but I am saying, I know. You guys have already thrown your hats in the ring. One of you is going to be in this seat.
I don't think we should change that at this point.
Technically, the winner could say no thank you.
But Godspeed to all 3 of you. It's in the voters' hands, obviously. And I will be more than happy to assist, whether I'm on the council or not. I will be happy to assist any of the 3 of you in a very smooth transition, and also to leverage any context I might have created, might have built within the last 4 years to help to keep Gardner moving in the right direction. So I just wanted to wish you all the best of luck and Godspeed, and also to my colleague over here, Council Vice President Baldwin. Good luck to you. And Casey, you've got no worries at all. You're just right over there. So anyway, get out and vote. Exercise your voice. Whether you vote for me or for any of the folks on this dais or against them, or want to move the city in a different direction, that is up to you. That is your verdict and your deliberation. So please exercise your franchise. Use that lever. Punch that button. Whatever you got to do. Make your voice heard. That being said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Gregorczyk, second Deaton, that we adjourn. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, any abstentions? We are adjourned.